Letters on the board?
There's letters on the board?
Apparently not. Can you read that?
I can't see anything. I have no idea.
Can you see that?
No. Vaguely.
Can you see that?
No.
Can you see that?
End? Say end?
Where?
E-N-D?
Okay.
Am I right?
Can you see this?
E.
Can you see that?
Is that say end?
Switch eyes. Can you see that?
E. Am I getting it right or no? H.
Do you wear daily contacts?
Yes. 12. 8.5. 29.74. 7.45. 2 nothing. 16 COVID. 35.96. COVID.
Switch eyes.
Alright, so you're okay talking about your medical conditions on camera?
Sure.
Alright, I just wanted to ask. Is it blurry with the contacts?
No.
You noticed that for the last year or about the same this last year?
T-Z-Y-E, little less sharp.
A little bit better.
This is fun.
I know, right? Bottom line, super tiny. Can you make those out?
S-E-O.
So your right eye has a little bit of astigmatism. Astigmatism is when the cornea itself is a little bit shaped a little bit differently than an eye that doesn't have astigmatism. This is probably why you're not seeing as sharp or as clear out of your contacts, because we don't have you with astigmatism. So this is your cornea, right? So if you look at it on the side, you can see how it domes out, right?
Yeah.
So when you have astigmatism, when you're looking at something with a prescription, if it's perfectly spherical, the prescription this way should be exactly the same as the prescription this way. That in a sense is what a sphere is. So the definition of the sphere is the radius of curvature is exactly the same in all meridians. That's what makes it like a perfect circle.
Do you think my contact, why did my eye get messed up?
Well, it's not messed up. It's just the way you are, right?
So it's always been like that?
Well, it could have gotten worse, or it could have gotten better, but astigmatism doesn't necessarily mean your eye's messed up. It's just a measure of a prescription.
Okay.
All right? So it's
It's not spherical. I have...
Exactly. So what happens is, you've heard the saying, hey, your eye's shaped more like a football. That means this curve is a little bit steeper than
I haven't
this
heard
curve.
that phrase, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what they usually say, that the eye's shaped not like a sphere, it's shaped more like a football. How many hours do you have your contacts in normal?
Sometimes I sleep with them too. Yeah.
That's something that...
Sorry, doctor.
That's alright, at least you're honest. Blepharitis here. Blepharitis here as well. Open nice and big.
What is blepharitis?
So it means I'm gonna give you some homework, then I'm gonna give you a kit. The kit, in that kit, there's a tea tree oil cleaner, there's a heating pad, and then there's lubricant eye drops. Alright? And then lubricant eye drops.
Okay.
Yeah, lubricant eye drops. If you're not getting the right results, then we can put you up and go into like a prescription medication. Yeah.
Antibiotics for your eyes?
Eyelashes, yeah.
So my eyelashes are dirty.
Your eyelashes have an infection in it that is making your...
Hair can be infected?
Well, the follicle itself has gunk on it. That gunk is coming from a mite called Demodox. That's the bacteria that's there.
I have mites in my eyelashes.
It's called the Demodox mite. Yeah. Yeah. And that mite has excrement, and that excrement is what's on your eyelashes.
So mites are coming on my eyelashes?
Mites are pooping, not coming.
Oh, excrement, yeah.
Yeah, excrement. Because it'll interact with your tear film, it'll make your eyes inflamed, and then all of a sudden you're itchy, you're irritated, you're not seeing well. All this stuff affects it because it's all there.
Because there's mite poop on my...
Literally. Yeah, Demodox, you can deal with it, and if we don't get the right protocol done, then we can actually go to the next step up. There's actually really good medication now. So if you clean it, you deal with it 2 times a week, 2 times a day for about a month. Be real vigilant at it. You're gonna feel much better. Your eyes are gonna feel better. So just give yourself a little bit more time in the morning. That's it.
Okay.
So a little more attention. That's all there is to it. Let's get you trying on these contacts. We have these lenses. It's very common.
You have them in stock?
We probably have them in stock. Okay. Let's find them. See what I got here for you.
Hey, shout out to Eyes on Bristol. Thank you. Great doctor.
Thank you.
Great doctor.
Pleasure.
See, look, Muslims don't hate dogs. I love dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs love me. He's barking the whole day.
It helps with anxiety with the kids.
Oh.
So
Well, I see incredible.
Amazing, right?
Yeah, this is cool.
do you feel a difference in that one eye that's a little bit thicker with the astigmatism? Can you tell?
I can see now. It just doesn't feel like it's always one eye before that was bad.
Yeah. I'll put it here for you.
Wait, hold on. My ethnicity, zoom in. You see my ethnicity here?
What did they put? Latino?
Nicola Kenabantazi, Hispanic or Latino?
Fix that.
No, it's fine. I'll
What is
okay.
your ethnicity?
Ya tu sabe.
Ah, well, I guess it's this. It's right, so it's not so bad.
Dale, baby.
There you go. I guess it's right. All right, let's see here. Chin there. I'm gonna raise this up for you.
This could be a good thumbnail. I'll get a shot here.
All right. All right, close your eyes. Hold it right there. You're gonna lift this up. Look down, look down, look down. I'm just gonna touch on your eyelashes. And you'll see little flakes all over the eyelashes. So it's, I mean, like I said, it's not horrible, but you got them.
On a scale of 1 to 10, like you've seen it before, how bad is mine?
Maybe a 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm a
hold it-
3. 3.
Hold it right there.
Hold
There
it.
we go. And you'll see it on the lash margin. See all that?
Can you see it, Yusuf?
No, not much.
Huh?
It's hard to tell from this camera.
Look down.
Look at
Look right at my ear. Alright, look right here for me. Good. Look up. Look over here. And this side for me.
Oh. It's like gingivitis, but for your eyes. You know, like how the dentist says that you need to floss more.
It's not even that bad. And I'm going to show you the next step here, the next part of what we do. So this is the back of your eye itself.
That's the back. That's my eye.
Yeah, so remember, your eye's just a big ball and your pupil's just a hole, right?
Yeah.
So you can see straight through and you can see all the structures. So we study the cornea, which is where the contact sits on. Yeah. Close. We study the cornea, which is the clear part, right? That's what we do LASIK on. That's where your contacts sit on, is on the cornea. And then behind that is the lens. And then behind that, all the way through is the retina. At the very end, the very back of the eye is where the retina is.
Oh.
So that's what we're looking at here.
That circle is my retina.
So the retina sits on top of all this. So if you want to make this easier to understand, if I take this and I make a slice, this is the vitreous, this is the retina. So this is the very, very back of the eye.
Yeah.
So the retina is this very, very thin, transparent, 10 cell layer thick structure that sits all the way on the back of the eye. All right. In front of it is the vitreous, which is like, think of the vitreous as a ball. Your eye is a ball within a ball. So if you grab that model again, yep. So exactly. So if you grab this model and you open her up, you did such a good job opening it. I'll let you do it there. There you go. So cornea, light goes all the way through. This is the vitreous. This is the ball within the ball.
It's like a camera lens.
Exactly. And then the very back part here is where the retina sits. And it sits in front of the very back part of the eye. So if I take this off, now you can see there's blood supply and blood. Well, the retina sits on top of all that. It's very, very thin. It's about as thick as your hair.
So if that gets damaged, you're screwed.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And depending on where it gets damaged, will give you more problems. So
It's like a camera sensor. If you leave the lens off and the sun touches the camera sensor, the camera's fried.
yeah, that's the exact same analogy as if you're looking at a solar eclipse. So this is why they tell you don't look at a solar eclipse, because you literally cook the retina. Because it's so high the intensity. So on a camera lens, you have a photocell that reacts to light. Light is electromagnetic spectrum. Out of that spectrum itself, there's only a very small part of it that is actually for light. The rest of it is we can't see. Electro waves, gamma rays, radiation, UV, all that. So light works just like sound. There's a wave. It's all waves. And so red has a different intensity than blue. Blue has a higher intensity. That's why we start talking about blue blocking lenses and stuff like this. So your retina itself is actually tuned. There's actually 3 main sensors, all right, for different colors. And then there's another sensor for light intensity. This is why at night, if you sit in a dark room for a little bit, all of a sudden you can start seeing. You go to the movies, you sit there, wait 10 minutes in the dark, you can actually start seeing much clearer than you did the moment you get there. And your eye is a sensory organ. So there's no pain in the retina. So if you lose your vision, you probably won't know that you're losing your vision because it happens so slow and progressively. This is why we tell people, just please come get an eye exam. Because if you don't get an eye exam, we won't know if there's a problem. And it's not like you'll have pain.
But I don't have a problem, right?
No, you're perfect.
Wait, so this is my eye.
So this is your eye, this is your retina, this is the vitreous that's up here. This is the back of the eye. So this is the front. So this is this looking like this. So what you're seeing here is a 3D scan of the back of your eye. And we can see the optic nerve, we can evaluate the size of the nerve, the nerve fiber layer. We can evaluate a lot of different structures. It gets really scientific if you want.
Yeah.
But the easy thing for you to understand is this is healthy. We don't see anything. There is no problems. You have an artery and you have a vein, and we can see that. So if you have high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, blood-borne pathology, all that will show up in the retina.
Does it kind of? What does this remind you of? I'm trying to see if there's an analogy. It's like God's creation is very beautiful.
Yeah.
Does it look like?
Window to the soul. You heard that saying before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. We can see everything. We can find strokes in the back of your eye. You'll see starting signs of Alzheimer's in the back of the eye. You can see neurological problems. You can see, like, this is your eye healthy, right? Now, I'm just going to stick this on Google and I can show you what diabetes does, like unchecked diabetes.
Diabetes affects your vision?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
So like fat people can't see how much they're eating.
Well, diabetes has nothing to do with fat. So diabetes is something totally different. So look what diabetes will do. So this is unchecked.
Looks
right?
like COVID.
Oh, well, COVID doesn't do that either. But
Well, it looks like a COVID virus.
well, this isn't viral either. So blood is actually toxic for the retina because the retina is clear. It's a clear structure. And so what happens with diabetes is your body is starved for nutrients and it starts growing blood vessels that leak. And there's different stages of this. Believe it or not, diabetes affects more people than they know. And the very first sign is I'm urinating and I'm always thirsty. Those are the first 2 signs. Like I'm always thirsty, but I'm always peeing. So those are the first things. And then when it starts to affect your vision, it starts by clouding your lens, swelling the back of the eye. So this is just to show you diabetes. High blood pressure does something different, you know? So there's a bunch of different things that does. So the bottom line that I could tell everybody, and hopefully your audience can see, is there's much more to getting an eye exam than just your glasses prescription. Much more. So those things that say, oh, digital eye exams, or we could replace the doctor. Technology is great, but this is really the most important part of the eye exam is this interaction and understanding what the problems are before we can get it.
Your overall eye health.
Yeah, because your eye health is connected to your health. It's not separate. So if you have a physical disease, you will have some signs of that in the eye. What's cool about a lot of this stuff is if you get healthier, your eye will heal. As long as it's before it goes to a certain critical point. So diabetes, say you have diabetes for a really bad long time, you can actually get your diabetes in check and your vision will get better and your retina will get better. Same thing with high blood pressure. So it's pretty cool on how well your eye can change. So here's something else. Your eyes and your kidneys are like brother and sister. So if this is how bad your eye looks, for example, if you have unchecked diabetes, for sure you'll have some kind of kidney issue. And so it becomes this kind of like snowball, right?
Yeah.
So simple, easy, go get an eye exam. And there isn't a doctor that won't work with you whether or not you have insurance to get it done. Because at least everybody that I know that's an eye doctor that has a private practice versus corporate, right? I'm sure corporate will do it as well, but most private practice owner doctors, it doesn't matter what it is, financial, whatever it is, we're here to save your vision. That's our goal.
Objective,
yeah, exactly. So,
Wow.
pretty cool.
So eye health is connected to your general health.
Yeah. If your general health is generally good, yeah.
So eat carrots.
Carrots are good. Yeah, but not just carrots. Just eat healthy. You know, so when you go to the store, we know this, the foods that we buy in a general store, I'm not going to name any names, but there's a bunch of stores out there. Most of the products that we have here in the United States, the food is toxic.
They call it like goy slop.
Yeah, so like the same quality of food is not equal to Europe. So if you go to Europe and you taste the food in Europe, you'll notice that it's different. Why our Europeans in general can eat pastas and
smoke cigarettes all day. And
well,
but they do. Like Italians and Spanish, they drink wine and cigarettes all day long, eating pasta. And
well, I'm not going to advocate cigarettes.
I'm not advocating,
but I will tell you that simple foods that the American diet, on average, when I say American, it's very, very generalized, all right? Doesn't matter what it is. On average, the foods that we think are healthy, they're actually not. And
what's an example?
well, the easiest example is pasta. Very simple. So you go to the store and you go and pick up a pasta, you go to that blue box package, you think this is the best pasta, or macaroni and cheese, or any of this. A lot of our cheese products, you already know that cold cuts is considered a carcinogen. So it's the same level as tobacco. So
really? Pork?
Yeah. Not only pork, but any cold cuts in general, you know. But there are like pork. You can't say it at all because Spanish Iberica pork is one of the best omega-3s that you can get when you're eating that. So it's not just pork. It's where and how it's cut, manufactured. You can say the same thing about chicken. Lord have mercy, chicken here. You go and you buy chicken, you put it on a plate to cook it. Here, an American chicken, you buy it at an American grocery store. All of a sudden, the chicken is full of water. And you same thing with your steaks. You put it on a pan. It's because they inject it with brine.
Oh.
Yeah. So the foods play a big role. A lot of people just don't realize that. So eating right doesn't mean. And there's a bunch of apps now. You can take it and they'll scan. It'll tell you what the scale is and stuff. And most people just don't realize that.
I've always heard the Europeans, I'm sure you've heard too, they come here for a vacation or a couple weeks or months and they gain 15 pounds just like that. And they go home and they lose the weight. And like, I didn't even change my diet. What happened? It's the food. It's just the quality.
It's the food. It's the kind of food, you know. You'll notice that, you know, everything has some kind of sugar in it or a high quantity of salt in it. You think it's healthy when it's not. And, you know, you just got to read those labels. You know, you got to read them. If you can't pronounce them, Lord have mercy, right?
Yeah. I have 1,000 ingredients for celery. Do you shop at Publix? Where do you recommend people go in Florida?
You know, I'm a local guy, so Sundays.
You go to the farmer's market.
I go to farmer's market, right? I mean, there are great things at every grocery store. It's up to the consumer to make a decision. So power is in the dollar and where you spend it, right? So you can make your choice on what to purchase. Hopefully you're educated enough to make the right choice, you know? And what is the right choice? Well, there's a lot of misadvertising on what's healthy or organic or whatever. They slap labels on it and it really isn't healthy. So you just study it.
I never grocery shop or cook. I just order DoorDash 3 times a day. Is that horrible? Well, it depends on where you order from, right? But
yeah, well, I mean, I think DoorDash will love you, right? Look, who doesn't order food, right? Again, it's where you're ordering your food from,
right.
And not only the food, but the quantity of food you're eating. So you can have the healthiest food, but if you eat it in large, massive quantities, you know, then you kind of defeated the whole purpose of it, right? So the same thing with your health. So And it all ties back to how you feel, you know. So you're younger, so you can tolerate things probably a little bit more than somebody that's like my age. On certain foods I can't eat, you know. Certain foods your father probably can't eat or your mother can't eat,
Right.
you know, because you know everybody wants to be younger, you know, and eat the way we used to, you know. I mean, there was a time I'm sure you could remember you could scarf down 2 or 3 sandwiches, and now you're like, I can't eat that much, you know. So things change, and hopefully, the change is always for the better.
Yeah.
I'll update your script, my man.
All right. Thank you, doctor.
Of course. If
Thanks,
there's-
doc.
It's my pleasure. If there's anything you need, you know where to find us.
Yeah. Well, how long does it take to get an optometry degree?
So you gotta do 4 years of undergrad, and then after undergrad you take a like a test, kind of like the MCAT. They have it called the OAT. Just like the dental school or the pharmacy school, you take one of those tests. So, but for optometry, it's called the OAT. And then it's a 4-year postgraduate degree. And then some institutions will have a residency if you wanted to do it. And so it's 4 years right afterwards, and we go straight and we're all about the eye for 4 years. Versus like a medical degree, you would study everything about the system. They spend a very, very little time on the eye. And then if you decide to do ophthalmology, then you do a fellowship or a specialty in ophthalmology, and then they break it down into different modules. So like cornea, then vitreous, then it's broken down. And so the fellowships are much longer. They're 4 years, sometimes 6.
Yeah.
The difference between an optometrist and an ophthalmologist, a lot of people get that confused. Optometrist, if you want to think about it, it's a general eye doctor.
Right.
He or she can do everything
You're
from
an
disease.
ophthalmologist.
I'm an optometrist.
Optometrist.
So we're trained to do everything from disease to therapy to contact lenses to management and care, pretty much for the whole family. What we don't do is surgery. Now, there are some states that will allow optometrists to do surgery with special certifications.
But you wouldn't recommend it?
Not that I wouldn't recommend it. The state of Florida does not recognize those certifications to do that here.
Okay.
All right. Ophthalmology, they're trained surgeons. Right. They go through medical school. They go through their fellowship. They go through the surgery. The way I look at it is go to an eye care professional for what you need. Right. You would never go to I know this is like simple. You would never go to a carpenter for a plumbing problem. Right. You go to a plumber. So go to the specialist that's trained, that does this procedure over and over and over and over again. It's like they don't even, it's like it's second nature.
Yeah.
Versus going to somebody that is not experienced in
I
it.
have a friend, clavicular, look, I don't know, but he got a nose job from Dr. Miami, a BBL doctor. And it's like, you should go to the nose guy, not the BBL guy.
Yeah, so I don't know Dr. Miami personally. I think he has a hell of a following, right, on the page, right?
Yeah.
It's fantastic to watch. I think every patient needs to do their own due diligence before doing anything. So I can't not recommend him or recommend him for anything, but I can tell you he's a very entertaining character to watch.
Yeah.
And so, was the no job? Was it a good job? Did he do a good job?
Some people said it was botched. I don't really know if he needed it, but it's really interesting to see how passionate you are about this, and this is a good reminder about how important eye health is.
I think the most important thing I could tell you, and right now because it's kind of like back to school and stuff like this, your pediatrician and your primary care doctors, your medical doctors you go to, they're fantastic. A pediatrician a lot of times will just do a simple vision test, like they put the letters on the screen. They measure with this auto-refracting device and say your children are okay. What I would always recommend is bring your children in as soon as possible to get an eye exam, because if we can catch it, whatever it is, they're going to perform that much better in school. It'll affect their learning. They could be considered ADD or have a learning disability when they don't necessarily have one. They just don't see well.
That's funny.
So you can catch it. That's what happened to a lot of people. And so if you catch it at that end, then you create the right kind of consistency all throughout. Because not only are we seeing the child, but mom and dad will get wowed, and then we see mom and dad, and then it becomes a family affair kind of thing.
That's probably really common. Imagine giving a kid Adderall because they can't see properly.
Yeah. Now, a lot of places they just medicate now with any kind of attention deficit. there's a psychological component to it.
Yeah.
So they have to go and get
Question.
IQ tests
I had
and
it.
stuff. And then now they're finally saying, go get an eye exam.
Mm.
You know, so the easiest thing to deal with headaches, by the way, the number one deal with headaches, first start easy, get an eye exam.
Wow.
Because we can catch things, and that's it. That's really easy. It took, honestly, we talked a lot, but the whole actual exam process probably took less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was quick.
So
We'll turn this into a podcast.
there we go. And if they got questions, they can call me.
What's your name again, Doctor?
I'm Dr. Copty.
Dr. Copton?
Copty.
Copty.
Yeah. And this is Sky. So pardon her interruption.
Hey.
Come on. Awesome. Let's get you going. Any questions?
Yeah, just gonna pick out some glasses.
Or of anything?
Just gonna get some glasses, that's all.
Awesome. This is Miss Ashley and this is Miss Nunez. So they'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, they were very helpful.
I put him into works. All right. He sees so much better with them, and then he definitely needs a pair of glasses. Now we did talk about that thing on the eyelid, right? We won't talk about it too loud since we're out here for everybody.
Yeah, I think
But,
they know.
There you go. So this is the cleaning kit. This is the cleaning, the tea tree oil, and the lubricant. So morning and evening. All right.
Thanks for the eye lube.
No.
Appreciate it, doctor.
The
Lube up my eyes good.
No. It's lubricant for your eyes.
Use protection.